"We would be honored to take you to Sanctuary Prime," he said. "Our capital world. The Compact Council should meet you." Taehyun. The human medical ship was unlike anything Daeho had ever seen. Everything was built heavy and strong. The beds could support twice his weight. The doors were thick metal. Even the walls seemed reinforced, as if the ship was expecting combat at any moment. Dr. Soo-hyun worked quickly among the injured colonists. She was a small woman with gentle hands and tired eyes. She had been awake for 18 hours treating wounds, but she never stopped smiling at her patients. "This might sting a little," she told an elderly colonist as she cleaned his cuts. The man barely reacted. "That's all? I thought it would hurt more." Soo-hyun paused. She had used a standard disinfectant, the kind that made humans wince. This man acted like she had touched him with water. Later, she found Daeho in the recovery ward. "Captain, I need to ask you something. Your people's pain threshold. It's much higher than ours, isn't it?" "Pain threshold?" Daeho looked confused. "I don't understand." "How much pain you can tolerate before it becomes unbearable." "Oh, I suppose so. Most species in the Compact are similar." "Why?" Soo-hyun sat down slowly. "Because I've been using medication doses that would be mild for humans. Your people are treating them like they're very strong. And some of your injured, the ones I thought would be crying from their wounds, they're just quietly waiting." "Is that strange?" "Captain, one of your people has 3 broken ribs. On Earth, that would have someone screaming. He's reading a book." Daeho finally understood what she was really asking. "How fragile are you?" "We're not fragile," Soo-hyun said quickly. Then she sighed. "Or maybe we are compared to most species. Our planet has high gravity, thick atmosphere, dangerous animals everywhere. We had to become tough just to survive." She pulled up a hologram showing a human skeleton next to a colonist skeleton. "See? Your bones are lighter, more efficient. You need less food and water. Your bodies are beautifully designed for peace and efficiency." "And yours are designed for war," Daeho said quietly. "For survival," Soo-hyun corrected. "But yes, sometimes survival looks a lot like war." Elsewhere on the ship, Ji-won was in the observation deck with a human marine named Yuna. They were watching the stars go by through the massive windows. The human fleet surrounded them, a protective formation that never wavered. "Your ships never break formation," Ji-won observed. "Even when we stopped to repair the morning light, every human ship adjusted position to maintain the protective ring." Yuna nodded. "That's standard procedure. You never leave someone exposed. You never break the line." "But why? We're not in danger now." "The Vrelith are gone." "Are they?" Yuna asked. "They could have more ships nearby. They could have allies. Until we get you home safe, we stay ready." Ji-won was quiet for a moment. "How long have humans been fighting?" "Always," Yuna said simply. "Before we had metal weapons, we fought with rocks and sticks. Before that, just our hands. Earth taught us that everything wants to kill you, so you better learn to kill first." That sounds terrible. It was. But it made us strong. Strong enough to help others who aren't. Ji-won looked at the young Marine. "Aren't you scared, going into battle against creatures like the Vrelith?" "Terrified," Yuna admitted. "Every time. But fear is just a feeling. You can be scared and still do your job." "I was so scared," Ji-won whispered. "When they were cutting through the doors, I wanted to hide, I wanted to cry. But you didn't, you fought, you protected your people." Yuna smiled. "That's brave. Being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means being scared and fighting anyway." In the command ship Indomitable Reach, Captain Daeho met with Admiral Woo Jin. The Admiral's office was surprisingly simple, just a desk, some screens, and a few pictures of Earth. "Thank you for agreeing to guide us to Sanctuary Prime," Woo Jin said. "It's the least I can do after you saved us." Daeho looked around the office. "May I ask you something, Admiral?" "Of course." "What will you do when you meet the Compact Council?" Woo Jin leaned back in his chair. "I'll offer friendship, alliance, help against the Vrelith. Just like that? You don't want anything in return?" "We want peace," Wujin said. We want to know we're not alone in the universe. And yes, we want to learn from you. Your technology is different from ours. Your culture is different. We can teach each other things. But you're so much stronger than us. You could just take what you want. Wujin's expression hardened. We could, but we won't. Strength without honor is just tyranny. My people learned that lesson the hard way, back when we were still just fighting each other on Earth. He pulled up a hologram showing Earth's history. Wars, millions dead, cities destroyed. We nearly killed ourselves, Captain. We came so close to extinction. We learned that being strong isn't enough. You have to be good too. You have to protect the weak, not exploit them. Deho studied the hologram. How did you survive with all that violence? We learned to cooperate. We learned that working together made us stronger than fighting alone. It took thousands of years and countless deaths, but we finally understood. And now you want to protect us? We want to stand with you, Wujin corrected. There's a difference. We won't rule you. We won't tell you what to do. But if someone threatens you, they'll have to go through us first. Later that day, Daiho was given a tour of the ship. He saw the training rooms where Marines practice combat in heavy gravity. He saw the weapons lockers filled with enough firepower to level a city. He saw the tactical center where officers planned for every possible battle scenario. But he also saw the garden dome where crew members grew earth plants. He saw the rec room where off-duty personnel played games and laughed. He saw the school where the few children on board learned their lessons. These humans were warriors, yes, but they were also people. They had families. They had hobbies. They told jokes and fell in love and worried about normal things. In the engineering section, Hyuna was talking with the human chief engineer. The man's name was Dongwu, and he was excitedly showing her their power systems. This is incredible, Hyuna said, studying the reactor design. This produces 10 times the power of our systems but uses half the fuel. We need lots of power, Dongwu explained. Our weapons, our shields, our engines, they all drain energy fast, so we had to get creative. Could you teach me how to build one? Sure, I'll send you the plans. Actually, I'd love to see your systems too. Your efficiency is amazing. We could learn from each other. This surprised Hyuna. You want to learn from us? But you're so advanced. Advanced in some ways, Dongwu said. But you have 300 years of peaceful space travel. You've perfected things we're still figuring out. Like your radiation shields. Ours work, but they use too much power. Yours are elegant. I never thought of it that way. That's the benefit of cooperation. Everyone's good at something different. The journey to Sanctuary Prime took 2 weeks. During that time, the colonists and humans began to understand each other. It wasn't always easy. The cultural differences were vast. Humans ate food that would make colonists sick. They exercised in gravity that would crush colonist bones. They found humor in things that seemed cruel. They were loud and aggressive and overwhelming, but they were also kind, patient, protective. When a colonist child got lost on the ship, 30 Marines stopped what they were doing to search. When an elderly colonist died from his injuries, human crew members attended the funeral and cried real tears for someone they barely knew. Minji spent hours talking with colonists, learning their languages and customs. She was fascinated by everything. How do you make decisions without arguing? She asked Deho once. Humans argue about everything. We seek consensus, Deho explained. We talk until everyone agrees. But what if someone never agrees? Then we keep talking. Or we compromise. That must take forever. It does. But it keeps everyone happy. Minji thought about that. On Earth, decisions were often made quickly by whoever was in charge. It was efficient, but not always fair. Maybe humans could learn something from the compact after all. As they approached Sanctuary Prime, Deho felt both hope and fear. Hope that his people would welcome these strange allies. Fear that they would see only danger. What do you think will happen? Hyuna asked him. I don't know. The council is wise but cautious. They've never met anyone like humans before. Will they be afraid? Probably. Deho admitted. The humans defeated the Vrelith easily. The Vrelith have been terrorizing us for decades. That kind of power is frightening, but they saved us. I know. I just hope the Council remembers that. Admiral Wu Jin stood on the bridge as Sanctuary Prime appeared on the screens. It was a beautiful planet, green and blue with white clouds. 3 small moons orbited it. Defensive satellites dotted the orbital space, but they looked more like sensors than weapons. A peaceful world, he murmured. Sir, we're being hailed, the communications officer reported. Sanctuary Prime Traffic Control wants to know our intentions. Tell them we bring their colonists home safe, and tell them we come in peace. The message was sent. There was a long pause. Then a reply came back. You are cleared to enter orbit. Please maintain current position and await Council representatives. Wu Jin smiled. Well, that's a start. Prepare for first contact, everyone. Let's make a good impression. On Sanctuary Prime, alarms were blaring throughout the government center. The council chamber on Sanctuary Prime was built to inspire peace. Soft lights glowed from the walls. Water features created gentle sounds. Representatives from 47 species sat in comfortable seats arranged in a circle. Everything was designed to reduce stress and encourage cooperation. Today, none of it was working. We cannot allow these warships into our system, Councillor Thex declared. He was a tall, thin being with pale blue skin. Look at them. Each ship carries enough weapons to destroy a city. They saved 12,000 of our people, Councillor Mara countered. She was short and covered in soft fur. We owe them gratitude, not suspicion. Today they save us, tomorrow they rule us, Thex shot back. This is how conquerors work. They appear as saviors first. Council leader Venthar raised his hand for silence. The arguing stopped. At over 200 years old, he commanded respect from all species. Captain Deho, you spent 2 weeks with these humans. Tell us truly. What are they? On the communication screen, Deho chose his words carefully. They are warriors, Council leader. They come from a violent world and they carry that violence with them. But they also have honor. They could have left us to die. They could have demanded payment. They didn't either. Perhaps they want something more valuable than money, Thex suggested darkly. Perhaps they want territory, servants, soldiers. Or perhaps, Huna spoke up beside Deho, they simply wanted to help. No one is that altruistic, Thex said. Then you've never met humans, Huna replied. Venthar studied the human fleet on his screens. I would like to meet their leader, face to face. Can this be arranged? Minji's voice came through the communication system. Admiral Wu Jin is willing to meet wherever you prefer, Council leader. He asks only that you give us a chance to explain ourselves. Very well. He may land 1 shuttle with no more than 10 personnel. No weapons. They will be met at landing platform 7. In the human fleet, Admiral Wu Jin received the message and smiled. They're cautious, smart, I would be too. He turned to his security chief. Taehyun, you're with me. Pick 8 Marines, but leave the rifles. Sidearms only. Sir, that's a risk. We don't know what we're walking into. Exactly. Which is why we need to show trust. You can't make friends with your fists raised. 2 hours later, a human shuttle descended through Sanctuary Prime's atmosphere. Inside, Wu Jin looked out the window at the planet below. Cities dotted the surface, but they were small and spread out. Lots of green space. Forests and farms. It looked peaceful. Beautiful world, Taehyun commented. They've had 3 centuries of peace here, Minji said. She had insisted on coming as translator. No wars, no major conflicts. Just cooperation and growth. Must be nice, Yuna muttered. She was one of the 8 Marines chosen for the escort. Different, Wu Jin corrected. Not better or worse. Just different. The shuttle landed on platform 7. As the door opened, Wu Jin saw a delegation waiting. Dozens of beings from different species all watching nervously. Many had never seen anything like humans before. Wu Jin stepped out first. He wore his dress uniform with no weapons visible. Behind him, his people followed. They moved carefully, trying not to seem threatening, but it was hard. Even without armor, the humans were larger than most species present. Their muscles were obvious. Their movements were efficient and controlled. They looked like predators trying to act tame. Council leader Venthar approached slowly. He was even older than he looked in the videos. His scales faded with age, but his eyes were sharp. Admiral Wu Jin, welcome to Sanctuary Prime. Thank you, Council Leader. It's an honor to meet you. They studied each other. Then Venthar made a gesture that was clearly an invitation. Please come. We have much to discuss. The council chamber was impressive. Wu Jin and his team sat in specially reinforced chairs, while the compact representatives watched them nervously. Some whispered to each other. Others simply stared. Before we begin, Venthar said, I must ask. Why did you help us? Because you needed help, Wu Jin answered simply. We received a distress call. We responded. That's what civilized beings do. Yet you crossed dimensional barriers to reach us. You risked your ships and people for strangers. This is not logical. Maybe not, Wu Jin agreed. But it's right. On Earth we have a saying, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We helped you because we would want someone to help us. Councillor Thek spoke up. And what do you want in return for this help? Nothing you're not willing to give freely. We want to learn about your civilization, share knowledge, maybe establish trade routes, and if you'll have us, we'd like to be friends. Friends, Thex repeated skeptically. Friends who carry enough weapons to destroy planets? Taehyun tensed, but Woojin remained calm. Yes? Because in our galaxy, we've learned that peace requires strength. The weak get conquered. The strong get to choose peace. We have lived in peace for centuries without such weapons, Thex countered, have you? Woojin asked gently. From what Captain Deho told us, the Vrelith have been raiding your worlds for decades. You've lost colonies, people, you've been living in fear, not peace. The chamber fell silent. It was true and everyone knew it. Councillor Mara spoke up. Admiral, if we accept your friendship, what does that mean? What would you expect from us? Only what you're comfortable giving. We would like to establish an embassy here. Learn your languages and customs. Perhaps some of your people could visit Earth. We could share technology where it makes sense. And if the Vrelith attack us again, Woojin's expression hardened. Then they attack our friends, and they would regret it. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the chamber. A technician rushed in, his face pale with fear. Council Leader, we have multiple contacts entering the system. It's a Vrelith battle fleet. 50 ships. The council erupted in panic. Representatives shouted over each other. Some ran for the exits. Venthar raised his voice to be heard. Activate all planetary defenses. Recall all civilian ships. Send distress calls to all compact systems. Council Leader, the technician said shakily. Our defense fleet has only 30 ships. Against 50 Vrelith vessels, he didn't need to finish. Everyone knew they were doomed. Wu Jin stood. Council Leader, request permission to engage the Vrelith fleet. You have 30 ships, Venthar said. They have 50. And Vrelith ships are powerful. So are ours. I cannot ask you to die for us. You're not asking. I'm volunteering. Wu Jin turned to his team. Get back to the shuttle. We need to be in space in 5 minutes. As the humans rushed out, Venthar called after them. Admiral, why would you do this? You barely know us. Wu Jin paused at the door. Because it's the right thing to do. And because no one should face monsters alone. In orbit, the human fleet was already moving into formation. They had detected the Vrelith ships minutes ago and were preparing for battle. Admiral on deck, someone called as Wu Jin reached the bridge. Status, he demanded. 50 Vrelith warships approaching. They're not hiding their intentions. Weapons are charging. The compact defense fleet is moving to intercept, but they look scared. They should be. They're not warriors. Wu Jin sat in his command chair. Open a channel to the compact fleet. Tell them to fall back and defend the planet directly. We'll handle the Vrelith. Sir, are you sure? 50 against 30 are bad odds. Only if you're evenly matched. Wu Jin smiled coldly. We're not even. We're better. All ships battle formation Delta. Target their command ship first. Let's show them what happens when you threaten our friends. The Vrelith fleet advanced confidently. They had tracked the human ships here and prepared accordingly. 50 ships should be more than enough to destroy 30. Then they would finish harvesting this pathetic planet. The human fleet moved to intercept. They spread out in a formation that looked almost random, but was actually carefully calculated. Each ship had clear firing lanes. Each captain knew exactly what to do. They're in range, the tactical officer reported. Fire, Wu Jin ordered. The human ships unleashed everything at once. Missiles and energy weapons filled space. The Vrelith command ship, unprepared for such immediate and overwhelming aggression, was hit by 3 ships at once. Its shields failed. Armor melted. In 30 seconds, it was destroyed. The Vrelith fleet faltered. Their coordination broke. Ships began firing independently instead of working together. "They're confused," Taehyun observed from his station. "They expected us to test their defenses first. Try to negotiate. We just punched them in the face, Gong." "That's the idea," Woojin said. "Keep firing. Target their capital ships. Make them afraid." The battle raged for an hour. The Vrelith fought hard, but they were outmatched. Human ships moved with precision. Every shot was calculated. Every maneuver was purposeful. They fought like a machine, tireless and efficient. The Vrelith fought like animals, fierce but disorganized. Without their command ship, they couldn't coordinate properly. Ships bumped into each other trying to dodge. Shots hit their own allies. It was chaos. Below on Sanctuary Prime, the Council watched in awe. They had expected a desperate battle. Maybe both fleets destroying each other. Instead, they watched the humans systematically dismantling the Vrelith force. "Impossible," Counselor Thex whispered. "They're outnumbered. They should be losing. But they're not," Mira said. "Look at them move. Each ship knows exactly where to be. They fight as one." The drop pods hit the ground like hammers from heaven. Each impact created a crater. Dust and rocks exploded outward. The Vrelith closest to the landing sites were thrown through the air like toys. Commander Taehyun was the first one out. His pod door blew off with explosive bolts and he stepped onto the moon's surface. His powered armor made him 2.5 meters tall. In his hands, he carried a rifle that could punch through tank armor. Around him, 500 Marines emerged from their pods. They moved into formation with practiced ease. These were not frightened colonists. These were Earth's warriors, trained and ready. A Vrelith warrior charged at Taehyun, mandibles clicking in rage. It was fast. It was strong. Under normal circumstances, it would have been terrifying. Taehyun shot it in the center of mass. The rifle round went through the Vrelith's armor like paper. The creature fell and didn't move. "Contact front," someone shouted. "Multiple hostiles." The Vrelith swarmed from all directions. There were hundreds of them. They had been preparing to breach the colony ship, but now they turned to face this new threat. Their warriors were fierce and experienced. They had hunted across a dozen star systems. It didn't matter. The human Marines opened fire. The sound was like continuous thunder. Vrelith fell in waves. Their armor meant nothing. Their speed meant nothing. The humans shot with terrible accuracy, each round finding a target. Taehyun moved forward steadily. A Vrelith leaped at him from the side. He caught it with one armored hand and threw it 20 meters. Another tried to flank him. He turned and fired without seeming to aim. The creature dropped. "Push toward the colony ship," he ordered. "Clear a path." The Marines advanced. Behind them, Vrelith bodies littered the ground. The survivors began to retreat, clicking in confusion and fear. This wasn't how hunts were supposed to go. They were the predators. They were supposed to be the strong ones. Inside the cargo bay, everyone heard the gunfire. It was different from their weapons, louder, heavier. And there was so much of it. "What's happening?" someone whispered. Yuna checked her scanner again. "The life signs outside are dropping, fast. The Vrelith are. They're being killed." "By who?" Juan asked. "By whatever came in those ships." The cutting on the cargo bay doors stopped. They could hear Vrelith clicking frantically outside, then the sound of them running away, then more of that terrible gunfire. Deho approached the damaged door cautiously. Through a gap in the metal, he could see outside. What he saw made him forget to breathe. There were giants out there. Giants in metal armor carrying weapons that spat fire. They moved through the Vrelith like farmers cutting wheat. One of them picked up a Vrelith warrior and broke it like a stick. Another one took a direct hit from a Vrelith weapon and just kept walking, the shot leaving only a small burn mark on its armor. "What are they?" Jiwon whispered beside him. "I don't know, but I think they're here to help us." One of the armored figures approached the door. It was huge up close. It raised a metal fist and knocked. The sound echoed through the cargo bay. Then it spoke. The voice was distorted by the armor's speakers, but underneath Deho could hear something that sounded almost human. "Is anyone alive in there?" Deho found his voice. "Yes, we're alive."
12,000 of us.
"Good, stay inside. We're clearing the area. This will be over soon." The figure turned and walked away. Through the gap, Deho watched it rejoin the others. They were forming a perimeter around the ship, a wall of armored bodies between the colonists and the Vrelith. The battle lasted 20 minutes. When it ended, 300 Vrelith were dead. The rest had fled to their ships. The human Marines didn't pursue. They had accomplished their mission. Taehyun removed his helmet. He was a man in his 40s with short black hair and a scar across his chin. He looked tired but satisfied. Perimeter secure, he reported to Admiral Wu Jin. Colony ship is damaged but intact. Survivors confirmed. Casualties? Wu Jin asked. None, sir. Few minor hits on armor. Nothing serious. In orbit, Wu Jin allowed himself a small smile. Well done, Commander. Begin evacuation of the colonists to our medical ships. Sir, what about the Vrelith fleet? We're handling it. In space above the moon, the Vrelith fleet was indeed being handled. Admiral Wu Jin's warships had formed a battle line between them and the planet. The human ships were smaller than the Vrelith vessels, but they bristled with weapons. Kikstal stared at his screens in disbelief. His ground forces had been destroyed. His warriors, who had never been defeated, had been killed like animals. And now these strangers expected him to retreat. No, he would not accept this. He would show them what Vrelith ships could do. All vessels attack formation. Target the largest enemy ship. His fleet moved forward. 20 Vrelith warships against 30 human vessels. The odds were not terrible. And Vrelith ships were strong, built from both metal and living tissue. They could heal damage. They were resilient. The human ships opened fire first. Missiles and energy weapons crossed the distance in seconds. Kikstal's flagship shook as hits rained on it. Alarms blared. Sections began venting atmosphere. Return fire, he screamed. The Vrelith ships fired their bioplasma weapons. The shots hit human ships and ate through armor. One human destroyer took heavy damage and fell back. Another had its shield generator destroyed, but the humans didn't stop. If anything, they increased their fire. More missiles. More energy beams. The space between the fleets became a storm of explosions. A Vrelith cruiser exploded. Then another. The humans were targeting them with frightening precision. Every shot seemed to hit exactly where it would do the most damage. Kikstal realized with growing horror that he was outmatched. These newcomers fought like nothing he had ever seen. They didn't just rely on heavy weapons. They used tactics, coordination. They worked together like a single organism. Sir, we've lost 6 ships, his tactical officer reported. Damage across the fleet is severe. We need reinforcements, Kikstal said. But even as he spoke, he knew it wouldn't matter. These humans would destroy reinforcements too. New contact, someone shouted. More human ships entering the system. Kikstal looked at his screen. 30 more warships had just arrived. The humans had brought reserves. They had planned for everything. He had no choice. All ships retreat. Full speed. Get us out of this system. The Vrelith fleet turned and ran. The human ships didn't pursue. They had made their point. On the moon's surface, the colonists were being evacuated. Medical teams had arrived in shuttles. They were treating the wounded and helping everyone board the transport ships. Daeho stood outside the Eternal Promise and watched his people leave. Many were crying with relief. Some were still in shock. But they were alive. That was what mattered. A woman approached him. She wore a human uniform with communication insignias. She was young, maybe in her 20s, with nervous eyes. Captain Daeho? She asked in his language. He nodded, surprised. You speak our language? Not really. I'm using a translator device. My name is Minji. I'm the one who received your distress call. Daeho stared at her. You heard us, but how? Where are you from? Earth. It's very far away. In another part of the galaxy. Your signal somehow crossed the distance. We came as fast as we could. Earth, Daeho repeated. He had never heard of it. What are you? You fight like nothing I've ever seen. Minji looked uncomfortable. We're human. I guess you could say we come from a difficult world. We've had to learn to fight. Commander Taehyun joined them. He had removed his armor and looked almost normal now, just a man in combat fatigues. But there was something about the way he moved. A confidence. A readiness. Captain, I'm Commander Taehyun. My Marines will remain here until all your people are safe. Is there anything else you need? You've already done so much, Daeho said. You saved us. How can we ever repay you? Taehyun looked puzzled. Repay us? For what? For coming to our rescue. For risking your lives for strangers? Oh, Taehyun shrugged. That's just what we do. Someone calls for help, we answer. It's not complicated. But it was complicated to Daeho. His people, the compact species, avoided conflict. They ran from danger. The idea of deliberately going toward danger to help others was almost incomprehensible. What are you? He asked again. Taehyun smiled, but there was sadness in it. We're Deathworlders, Captain. We come from a planet that tried very hard to kill us for millions of years. We learned to be tough. We learned to fight. Some say we learned too well. Hyuna approached with Jiwon and several other survivors. They all stared at the humans with a mixture of awe and fear. Are the Vrelith gone? Hyuna asked. For now, Taehyun said. They'll think twice before attacking anyone under human protection. Under human protection? Jiwon repeated. What does that mean? Minji spoke up. Admiral Woojin wants to escort you home. We want to make sure you reach safety, and we want to meet your people. Your civilization. This is first contact for us. The colonists exchanged glances. They were grateful, of course. But these humans were so strong, so violent. What would happen when they met the compact? Would they want to conquer them? Would they become new enemies? Daiho saw their fear and understood it. But he also remembered the human voice on the radio asking if anyone was alive. He remembered the Marines forming a wall to protect them. He remembered the Admiral coming across impossible distances because strangers needed help. The eternal promise fell from the sky like a dying bird. Captain Daiho gripped his chair as the ship shook violently. Outside the windows, he could see the gray surface of a moon rushing up to meet them. They had no engines, no control, just gravity pulling them down. Brace for impact. Someone screamed. The ship hit the ground and everything went white. When Daiho opened his eyes, he was lying on the floor. Blood ran down his face. His ears rang. Around him, people were groaning and crying. But they were alive. Somehow, impossibly, they were alive. Report, he croaked. Hull breach in sections 7 through 12. Came a weak voice. Life support critical. We have maybe 6 hours of air. At least we're on solid ground, Daiho muttered. He pulled himself to his feet. His leg hurt badly, but he could walk. He had to walk. His people needed him. In the engineering section, Hyuna was already working. She was covered in grease and sweat, her hands moving quickly over sparking wires. Around her, pipes leaked and machines sputtered. But she didn't stop. She never stopped. Talk to me, Hyuna, Daiho said. Life support is barely functioning, she replied without looking up. I'm rerouting power from non-essential systems. We might get 10 hours if I can patch the oxygen recyclers. What about the Vrelith? Hyuna's hands paused for just a moment. Then she continued working. They landed 2 hours after we crashed. I can hear them outside. They're cutting through the hull. Daiho felt his stomach turn cold. How long do we have? Until they break through? Maybe 4 hours, maybe less. Then we have 4 hours to prepare. In the security office, Jiwon was handing out weapons. There weren't many. The Eternal Promise was a colony ship, not a warship. They had 20 stun rifles and maybe 40 pistols. Against the Vrelith, it would be like fighting wolves with sharp sticks. Jiwon was young, only 23. She had joined security because it seemed like easy work on a colony ship. Check doors, watch cameras, maybe break up the occasional argument. She never expected this. Will these even work against them? Someone asked, holding a stun rifle with shaking hands. Jiwon didn't know. She had never seen a Vrelith up close. But she had heard the stories. They were big, covered in armor like shells. They had claws that could tear through metal. And they were smart, much smarter than animals. Aim for the joints, she said, trying to sound confident. Between their armor plates. That's where they're vulnerable. She hoped she was right. Outside the ship, the Vrelith worked methodically. There were hundreds of them moving in organized groups. Their leader, Kixtal, watched from a distance. He clicked his mandibles in satisfaction. This hunt was going well. The prey had nowhere to run now. They were trapped in their broken ship like insects in a jar. Kixtal enjoyed this part. The waiting. The anticipation. Soon they would breach the hull and the harvesting would begin. The Vrelith needed certain chemicals from other species' brains. Fear produced the best quality. That's why Kixtal always let his prey know they were coming. Let them feel terror. Let them imagine what would happen. It made the harvest so much sweeter. He clicked an order to his warriors. They increased their cutting speed. The fun was about to begin. Inside, Daiho gathered everyone who could fight. There weren't many. Most of his people were families, scientists, engineers, not soldiers. They stood in the cargo bay holding their pathetic weapons, looking at him with frightened eyes. I won't lie to you, Daiho said. We can't win this fight. There are too many of them and they're stronger than us. But we can buy time. Every minute we hold them back is another minute for our people to hide, to prepare, to maybe find a way to survive. "Captain, why are we even fighting?" someone asked. "Maybe if we surrender, they'll let us live." Deho shook his head slowly. "The Vrelith don't take prisoners. They harvest us. They cut into our brains while we're still alive. Surrender just means dying on our knees instead of on our feet. I'd rather die standing." The room fell silent. Then G1 stepped forward. "I'll fight, Captain." Others followed. Not all of them. Some were too scared. But enough. Maybe 40 people total standing together with their useless weapons. "Thank you," Deho said softly. "Position yourselves at the breach points. First squad at Section 7, second at Section 9. Don't try to be heroes. Fire, fall back, fire again. Make them work for every meter." As people moved to their positions, Huna approached him. "Deho, I need to tell you something." "What is it?" "The quantum beacon. Before it died, it showed a strange reading." Like something answered. Deho felt his heart skip. "What do you mean answered?" "I don't know. It was just a blip. Maybe nothing. Maybe equipment failure. But for a second, it looked like our signal reached something and something responded." "How long ago?" 6 hours. Deho did the math in his head. Even if something had heard them, even if help was coming, it would take days or weeks to reach them. They had hours at best. "Thank you for telling me," he said. "But don't mention it to the others. False hope is worse than no hope." The first breach came at Section 7. The Vrelith cut through in 3 places at once. Their warriors poured in, clicking and hissing. They moved on 4 legs like giant insects, their eyes glowing in the darkness. G1 fired her stun rifle. The bolt hit a Vrelith in the face and it stumbled. But it didn't fall. It just shook its head and kept coming. "Fire! Keep firing!" she screamed. The defenders shot everything they had. Some Vrelith fell. Most just kept advancing. They were too strong, too armored. The stun weapons barely slowed them down. "Fall back," G1 ordered. Section 6, now they ran. Behind them, the Vrelith followed slowly. They weren't in a hurry. They knew their prey couldn't escape. Section by section, the humans retreated. They lost people. Ki-hoon, the weapons officer, died trying to seal a door. 3 engineers died setting up a barricade. An old woman named Mrs. Han died protecting children. Deho fought with them, his pistol hot in his hand. He was so tired, so scared, but he kept fighting because that's what captains did. They fought until the end. The Vrelith herded them toward the central cargo bay. It was the largest space in the ship, the last place they could go. When the defenders stumbled inside, Deho ordered the door sealed. "This is it," he said. "This is where we make our stand." Around him, his people were wounded and exhausted. They had maybe 20 fighters left. Outside, the Vrelith began cutting through the cargo bay doors. The sound was like nails on metal, screeching and terrible. Yuna appeared at his side. Deho, the strange reading. "It's back. Stronger now. What does it mean?" I think something is coming." The cargo bay doors began to glow red from the Vrelith cutting torches. Any second now they would break through. Deho raised his pistol. His hand didn't shake anymore. He was past fear now, past hope. Then everything changed. The ship's emergency lights flickered. A low rumble shook the floor. Warning sirens blared throughout the ship. "What's happening?" someone shouted. Yuna checked her portable scanner. Her eyes went wide. "There's something in orbit. Something big. Multiple somethings, ships, lots of ships." "The Vrelith have reinforcements?" G1 asked. "No, these are different. The readings don't match Vrelith technology at all." Outside the ship, the Vrelith stopped cutting. Kixtal received urgent reports from his fleet commanders. Unknown vessels had just appeared in the system. They came out of nowhere, tearing through space itself. The energy readings were massive. Kixtal clicked in annoyance. Another species trying to steal his harvest? He would deal with them quickly. Then his sensors showed him what the newcomers looked like. His confidence wavered. Those ships were warships. Real warships. Covered in weapons. Built for destruction. A transmission came through on open channels. It was in Vrelith language, spoken by something that definitely wasn't Vrelith. "Cease hostile action. Withdraw or be destroyed." Kixtal clicked in laughter. These newcomers thought they could threaten him. He would show them what the Vrelith did to fools. He sent his warriors back to work cutting through the cargo bay doors. Let these strangers watch. Let them see what happens to those who interfere. In orbit above, Admiral Wu Jin watched the scene unfold on his screens. He saw the damaged colony ship. He saw the Vrelith forces surrounding it. He saw them cutting into the hull even after his warning. "They're not stopping," his tactical officer said. Wu Jin's expression didn't change. "Then we proceed with option 2. He opened a channel to the marine decks. "Commander Taehyun, you are authorized for immediate combat drop. Save those people." In the marine bay, Taehyun smiled grimly. Finally some action. He had been cooped up in this ship for weeks. Marines. "Mount up, we're going hunting." 500 men and women rushed to their drop pods. They wore powered armor that made them look like metal giants. Each carried enough weapons to level a building. The pods launched. They fell toward the moon like meteors burning through the atmosphere. Inside the cargo bay, Daeho watched the doors begin to buckle. This was the end. Then he heard a sound like thunder, like the gods themselves were angry. The whole ship shook. The Vrelith outside started clicking in alarm. Something had arrived. Something terrible. The colony ship Eternal Promise was dying. Captain Daeho stood on the bridge, watching his screens fill with red warnings. Each beep meant another system failing. Each flicker meant more people in danger. Behind him, the navigation officer was crying softly. The young man had just received news that his family was in the damaged section of the ship. "Captain, life support is down to 40%, someone called out. Daeho closed his eyes for just a moment. 12,000 people depended on him. 12,000 souls who had trusted him to take them to a new home. Now they were stranded in the Andros Nebula with holes in their hull, and death circling them like hungry wolves. The Vrelith had come 3 days ago. Their ships looked like giant insects made of metal and flesh. They didn't send messages. They didn't ask questions. They just attacked. The first strike had killed 4,000 people instantly. The second wave had destroyed their engines. Now the Eternal Promise drifted helplessly while the Vrelith ships waited nearby watching. "Why don't they finish us?" the weapons officer asked. His name was Ki-hoon and his hands shook as he gripped his console. "They're playing with us," Daeho said quietly. He had heard stories about the Vrelith. They were hunters who enjoyed the fear of their prey. They would attack, then wait. Attack again, then wait longer. They wanted the people inside to feel terror. They wanted desperation. Daeho would not give them the satisfaction. Not while he still breathed. "Prepare the quantum beacon," he ordered. His first officer looked at him with wide eyes. "Sir, the quantum beacon uses all our remaining power. If we send it, we'll have nothing left for life support." "I know. We'll die in hours without life support." "We'll die anyway," Daeho said, his voice steady. "At least this way someone might know what happened here. Someone might warn others about the Vrelith." The bridge fell silent except for the beeping warnings. Then slowly his crew began working. They were good people. Brave people. They deserved better than this cold death in an empty nebula. The quantum beacon was old technology from before their people had learned to travel between stars. It sent messages in all directions at once, using quantum entanglement to pierce through space itself. The range was unpredictable. It might reach nearby systems or it might reach nowhere at all. But it was their only chance. "Beacon ready, Captain." Daeho picked up the microphone. His hand was steady even though his heart felt heavy as stone. He pressed the button and spoke. "This is Captain Daeho of the colony ship Eternal Promise. We are under attack by hostile forces in the Andros Nebula. We have 12,000 civilians. 4,000 are already dead. Our engines are destroyed. We cannot escape. If anyone receives this message, please help us. Please don't let us disappear without anyone knowing we existed. Our coordinates are attached. This is our last transmission. Eternal Promise out." He released the button. "Send it, all frequencies, all directions. Maximum power." The ship shuddered as the beacon activated. Every light on the bridge dimmed. Somewhere below, people would be screaming as their rooms went dark. Children would be crying. But maybe, just maybe, someone would hear them. The beacon sent its signal outward in a burst of quantum energy. It traveled through normal space, then slipped into quantum foam, spreading across dimensions like ripples in a pond. Most of the signal dispersed harmlessly into the void. But one strand of that desperate message found something unexpected. It found a tear in space itself, a thin membrane between parallel sections of the galaxy. The Andros Nebula's unique properties had created this weakness. The signal pushed through. And on the other side, 40,000 light-years away, something heard. At Earth's orbital station, Sentinel-7, Communications Officer Minji was finishing her night shift. It was boring work usually. She listened to satellite chatter, commercial traffic, and the occasional distress call from ships with engine trouble. Nothing exciting ever happened during the night shift. Then her screen exploded with light. What the? Minji grabbed her headset as alarms blared. The signal was massive, overwhelming her equipment. It was coming from nowhere? The directional indicator spun wildly, unable to pinpoint a source. She filtered out the noise and isolated the core message. Her breath caught in her throat. It was a voice, speaking a language she had never heard. But the translation algorithms were working, slowly converting the alien words into Korean. She read the text appearing on her screen and her hands began to shake. Colony ship. Attack. 12,000 people. Help us. Oh my God, she whispered. Oh my God. She slammed the emergency button. Red lights flooded the communications room. Within seconds, her supervisor rushed in. Minji, what's wrong? Sir, I'm receiving a distress call. So? Process it and, sir, it's not from Earth. It's not from any of our colonies. I think it's aliens. Her supervisor stared at her like she had gone crazy. Then he looked at her screen. His face went pale. Get me Admiral Wu Jin. Now. The next 6 hours passed in a blur. Minji found herself in a room with generals, scientists, and politicians. They all asked her questions. They all looked at her data. They argued in loud voices while she sat quietly, listening to the alien distress call play over and over in her headset. Finally, Admiral Wu Jin stood up. He was an old man with gray hair and scars on his face from the colony wars. He had a reputation for being tough but fair. Enough debate, he said. His voice cut through the arguing like a knife. The facts are simple. We received a distress call from intelligent beings. They are under attack. They need help. We don't know anything about them, a politician protested. We don't know if they're telling the truth. This could be a trap. Does it matter? Wu Jin asked quietly. If there's even a chance that 12,000 innocent people are dying out there, do we have the right to ignore them? We have no obligation to. We have every obligation. Wu Jin's eyes were hard. I didn't spend 40 years in the Defense Force to become the kind of man who ignores screams for help. I won't start now. He turned to the council leader. I'm taking the Indomitable Reach and her fleet. We'll cross dimensional barriers if we have to. We'll find these people, and if someone is attacking them, they'll learn what happens when you hurt the helpless. There was silence. Then the council leader nodded slowly. Permission granted, Admiral. Bring them home. Wu Jin looked at Minji. Officer, you're coming with us. You're the only one who heard their voices first. You'll be our translator. Minji swallowed hard. She had joined the communications corps to listen to stars. Now she was going to meet aliens. Now she was going to war. The Indomitable Reach and her fleet of 30 warships prepared to launch. Their destination was impossible. Their mission was insane. But they were going anyway, because somewhere in the darkness someone had called for help and humanity always answered.